I'm Joe Fetterman with Colliers Life Sciences Advisors, and welcome to LabNotes. Today we're here with Clayton Mitchell, known to most as Mitch, who is the Senior Vice President for Real Estate and Facilities at Thomas Jefferson University and Jefferson Health System. Mitch, welcome to LabNotes today.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe.
Well, we've been looking forward to this conversation, and one of the things that has excited me most when we've spoken in the past is how you got to be where you are today. You've got a great history. Let's spend a couple minutes talking about that.
Well, it probably started for me at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, which is halfway between LA and San Francisco. And I've been in facilities and infrastructure, but I'm actually an industrial engineering and operations research major, and that's just been the perfect setup for what I've been able to do and the information and knowledge that I bring to real estate infrastructure and delivering it in a very integrated fashion.
So Mitch, when you graduated, tell us about a couple of the starting jobs, because boy, you've gotten to some really interesting and exciting places that have really shaped a career.
Yeah, so I graduated from Cal Poly, and I find myself working in the aerospace industry, actually building B-1 bombers for the Air Force with Rockwell International, and that just didn't seem like the thing I wanted to do for a career. And so I decided, in order to get a career break, the Navy offered the opportunity to bring me in as a civil engineer corps officer, and so my intent was to go for 4 years, get the civil engineer basic experience, and blow away. But I ended up there for 25 years, and some great jobs. Director of operations, maintenance, and utilities for the Naval Academy, and as a 30-year-old, wet behind the ear sort of manager, really driving a 300-person union workforce and doing a lot of things to support the academy in terms of utilities, maintenance, transportation. Great job. They had a sewage treatment plant. We had a water treatment plant. We had a central utilities plant, a chiller plant, all the things that a small city would have. And so a lot of experiences there. Went on from there, and I was director of planning and real estate for the Public Works Center Yokosuka, based south of Tokyo, Japan, and really cut my teeth on real estate planning and capital construction at a big level. Huge projects there, 864 unit, $1 billion housing complex in Zushi, Japan. We're building everything from carrier piers, submarine piers, high-rise apartments, sewage treatment plants, just a lot of great construction. And probably the best part of that job is the close association and negotiations with my Japanese counterparts, who were fully funding a lot of that construction for the United States Navy. And then later, working for the Senate Majority Leader, Senator Trent Lott. I was his military legislative assistant and running a lot of the defense programs there, driving bucks into the research universities out of Mississippi. And I think maybe one of the pinnacles is being a battalion commander and taking a unit into Iraq. So, those experiences helped me leverage into healthcare. I guess the pinnacle project that really kicked me over into healthcare is I was a project executive for the Walter Reed expansion at Bethesda. So I was about $1 billion plus million square foot addition to Bethesda to accommodate Walter Reed that was relocated from Washington, D.C. So I've ended up at Kaiser Permanente for 7.5 years and decided it was time to become a head coach after being an offensive coordinator on some really great football teams, and happy to be at Jefferson now.
Well, we talked a little bit before about that process of coming to Jefferson and what attracted you and ultimately caused you to choose Jefferson as the place for you. And we were talking a bit about visionary leadership, and I'll let you take it from here.
Yeah, so the great thing about being at Kaiser Permanente, and it's the 400-pound gorilla in this space. It was led at the time by Bernard Tyson, who's one of the most influential folks in healthcare, very visionary, and you felt like you were always at the tip of the spear. And then this Jefferson opportunity comes along, and then I start doing research on this guy named Steve Klasko. And I find out that Klasko and Tyson are both in this visionary spectrum of leadership. And so, jumping from one visionary to another visionary leader seemed like a natural thing to do. A really great situation here at Jefferson that wasn't as readily apparent as at other institutions I looked at, where all of real estate for the academic research and clinical pillars all sort of ported up to the same accountable executive. And I thought that was just very conducive to my success, given the emphasis I've had in many parts of my career, for delivery of integrated facility services. I think that only really happens when there's one executive that gets to balance those decisions across all of those different functional areas for the organization. And so for Jefferson, the senior vice president for real estate is viewed as a co-equal business partner in driving our organization forward. And that's just been I tell people I'm on a 2-year honeymoon. It's just been a great experience.
Well, Mitch, since you've been here, there are a lot of things going on. We talked earlier about some of the things that you're doing to bring capital into the organization to fund and drive the projects. Let's pause and talk about that for a moment.
Yeah, so when you think about what's happening in real estate today, there's just a lot of private equity that's flowing into this particular arena. I've got some charts that show in 2015, roughly 44% of the acquisitions in healthcare were done through private equity. Last year, in 2020, it was 70%, and that number is expected to grow. And so, one of the names of the game for Jefferson is to take pressure off of our core capital requirements by finding alternative capital resources to fund a lot of our real estate and facilities related initiatives. And so we've got initiatives on the books like the Carolyn Kimmel research facility that will look at alternative financing mechanisms and other innovative financing mechanisms to help make that project a reality.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that project up. I mean, we were talking a little bit about why it's so important to Jefferson in terms of the recruitment of talent and the cultivation of the life sciences innovation that's occurring at Jefferson. We were even equating it a little to a sports team and bringing in the best talent and watching the attraction of additional talent.
I think that sports analogy that you use is a perfect analogy, because it is like a team that's looking to build itself for the future, and like sports, like football and basketball and research, you need the best talent in order to move the organization forward. The other analogy we use is attracting the 5-star high school athletes into your university, and so they're looking at the quality of your gym, the quality of all the equipment and the facilities and infrastructure, and we just think that that's going to be a similar type of philosophy that the best researchers will look for. Who has the best lab space, who has a program that's growing and supports our ability to attract funding necessary to do the types of research that we need to move forward. And so we look at growth and expansion of that capability to actually grow Jefferson's footprint in that space. But at the same time, we have to look at modernization of existing infrastructure to ensure that we're delivering the world-class facilities and infrastructure that world-class researchers will want and desire to be part of.
Well, and staying on that theme, you guys had a really important announcement just last week with the expansion of JIB. I love the acronyms. You expanded JIB at SHIP, so at the Springhouse Innovation Park. So tell us a little bit about that. That's great in terms of what was driving that and what's happening there.
Yeah, the Jefferson Institute for Bioprocessing, in that space, Jefferson found a niche where pharmaceutical entities, just needed talent to help, develop a lot of the bioprocessing innovations that have been hitting the pharmaceutical industry. And so one of the things that they were experiencing was challenges finding people with those technical skills necessary to optimize the delivery of those products. And so Jefferson has stepped into that space initially with a space at Springhouse. It's been wildly successful with greater demand that sparked this additional $40 million expansion to expand that capability and produce more talent for that particular sector. And I think it's perfectly aligned with, one of the things we talked about. The school I went to, Cal Poly's focus mantra was "learn by doing," and in many ways, I feel that same spirit here at Jefferson. Jefferson's really focused on producing the talent that a variety of industries, not just healthcare, but life sciences and bioprocessing are going to need to move. To move those industries forward in the future. And if you look at our East Falls campus and you look at our Center City campus, both of those campuses are set up for students to come in and get real life experiences that make them immediate benefits to employers in a variety of professions. And so, we're really proud of that, and we're really proud of how this JIB investment is going to help advance the pharmaceutical industry.
Well, Mitch, I want to thank you for your time this afternoon. We are extremely excited about all the initiatives you have going on. It's going to be great to watch over the next year or two. And I'm sure we're going to want to get back together and celebrate some of these projects as they actually come to market. So congratulations for all you do. Your story is a great one, and I'm glad we got to spend some time together.
Hey, thanks a lot, Joe.
You bet.